Carrying on with our survey of large-scale adaptations, we've been focusing on fundamental processes that must be explained in terms of individual advantage. We saw that in sexual selection, and we saw it in sexual reproduction itself. Today, we're going to get to one of the biggest puzzles in evolutionary biology, and that has to do with the evolution of cooperation. Now, in preparation for this, I want to ask you a question. Can you just take a minute to answer this? Do you think that traits are more likely to evolve if they improve the survival and reproduction of individuals, populations, or species? So A would be just individuals, B just populations, C just species, D and E various combinations. So what do you think? Well, if your answer was A, you'd be right. In this course, we've always focused on the advantages to individuals in terms of their individual fitness. And I want to illustrate now why this is such an important distinction. Let's take a hypothetical organism that has weapons it uses to fight other members of its own species. Okay? And in this case, the guys who have the biggest and the best weapons are going to win. Okay? So generation after generation, we see more and more individuals with the longer horns who can dominate and damage the smaller horned rivals becomes more and more common. Okay? And we know this is true because there's a lot of weapons out there, especially where males fight with each other for access to mates. Now, this is happening despite the fact that they're ultimately either killing the inferior competitors or they're preventing them from breeding altogether. Okay? So let's say we have two different subpopulations or two social groups of this species with the dangerous weapons. And in one area, we have the fighters all together, and in another area, we have very sweet, nice individuals who would never hurt each other. Okay? So in this ugly, nasty, cutthroat area, there's fighting, people are dying, life's grim. Over here, it's great. Now, you'd think that it would be to the advantage of everybody to be as nice as possible. Because after all, there are more of them in the next generation as there would be up here, right? However, all it takes is for this behavior to spread from one subpopulation to another. And the selfish individual has a huge advantage over these defenseless little angels down here. And so a selfish trait can spread even if it's damaging to the species as a whole. If we were all nice, the population would be larger than if we were all mean to each other. But because mean individuals can find nice populations and integrate into them, and they spread the trait with them, then the selfish trait will spread. Now, given that profound advantage for selfish behavior, we're left with an extraordinary puzzle. There are many species of social insects that show an extraordinary division of labor. And one of the most extreme examples is illustrated here with these ants, where a certain number of workers cling to the ceiling, and they serve as a receptacle for nectar that's used by the nest of the colony. They never breed on their own. All they are living little pots, so they're honeypot ants. Meanwhile, within the colony, there is a reproductive individual. She's the queen. And she's the only one that has babies within the whole colony. Darwin was familiar with this kind of division of labor, and he described the sterile castes of social insects who work on behalf of a queen as one special difficulty, which at first appeared to me insuperable and actually fatal to my whole theory. What we want to do is to examine cases of apparently altruistic behavior. By this we mean self-sacrificing act that benefits the recipient at the expense of the donor. An altruist is somebody who goes out of their way to help somebody else. In biological terms, what we're meaning is that an individual behaves so as to lower its own reproductive success, that is its fitness, while raising the fitness of the recipient. Now, given that natural selection is the differential survival and reproduction of individuals, why would one individual ever help another at its own expense?